Inhaling. A nice long, smooth, steady breath out. No rush. Only a few more like that, taking a nice deep breath in, noticing how lovely that feels for your body, for your mind. Nice, long, smooth breath out. Inhaling. And exhaling. Nice. And then allow your breath now to come back just to its own natural rhythm. Being aware of what might feel different to you, even within those few breaths. It's really an amazing practice to have, to notice how your breath feels, the length of your breath, where your breath goes to. It's very calming for the nervous system, very soothing for the entire body. And that's because it just is an important signal, really, to the body and to the mind that everything is fine. And so it's very reassuring to practice kind of conscious breathing. So on your next breath in, let's reach the legs straight out along the mat. Lifting our arms up over our heads, interlinking our fingers, pressing out through the palms, out through the heels. A nice stretch for the body. And then drawing your knees in towards your chest, giving your knees a nice big hug. So squeezing the knees in. You might like to move a little side to side. So our yin practice today is also going to include a little bit of movement. I think our cells need a little bit of movement, but we can move in a very yin-like way. So nice and gentle, slowly, very lovingly. Not for any particular outcome other than presence. Nice. Let's take the soles of the feet to the earth. And similar to that movement, we want to have our feet nice and wide. And we're going to let both knees come over to the right. So a bit like a windshield wiper with the legs. And kind of onto the outside edge of the right foot, the inside edge of the left foot. Nothing too much, just to the point where it feels interesting. And then as we inhale, coming back up and exhaling, taking the knees to the left. And noticing how that feels around the outside of your right hip. Inhaling, coming back up. Exhaling, slowly taking your knees now over to the right. And then inhaling, coming back up. Exhaling, knees come over to the left. So again, we're going to come back up to the center now. As we exhale, the knees come to the right. And this time we're going to turn our head to the left. So you might like to reach your left arm away. Notice how that feels on the outside of your left hip, into your torso, maybe the side body. Resting your right hand wherever you feel is comfortable. Spending a few extra breaths here. And we're not pushing anything. This is really a practice that isn't about our muscles. It's a sense, it's an opportunity really to soften the muscles and get a little underneath all of that. Not about being in action with the muscles, but being a little deeper into we're kind of deeper in one sense, but up into this fascial connective tissues. But our joints, our bones, our ligaments, our tendons, the more plastic-like tissues we have in the body. And then once we've created this shape, we really drop into our breath again. Noticing how the breath feels, and perhaps counting the breath in to a count of 5. And exhaling to a count of 5. Noticing as you inhale, it comes down through the front of the spine, front of the belly. And as you exhale, the breath travels up along the back of the spine, behind your neck, and out. It's a very nice practice to create a kind of lovely orbit of following the breath. That circular movement of the breath, of the energy. Dropping into stillness. The outer body is still. And then as you inhale nice and slowly, starting to draw your head back into the center, lifting your knees up, back up to the center, but taking your time nice and slow. You want to notice how that feels for the lower back, for the hips, straightening your spine up a little bit here, broadening your shoulders out from underneath you, keeping your feet nice and wide. So it's important that you make this right for yourself. It's even more important now that I can't see you. So really being kind with yourself and your practice. Don't make it more difficult than it needs to be. So we're going to let the knees drop over to the left. They might not come to the floor. You might like to put something underneath your legs to support them. You might like to use your rolled up blanket. And then reaching your right arm away, turning to look over your right arm. And again, coming into your breath. Counting your breath in for 5. And exhaling for 5. And it's a very lovely practice to follow the breath with your mind. It's that lovely connection between your mind and your breath. The breath really starts to be like an anchor for the mind. So as you inhale, feel the breath traveling down through the front of the body, and then as you exhale, feel the breath traveling up the spine, maybe around the back of your head, the space between your eyebrows. As the breath gets a little bit longer, softening any muscles, making this right for you. You should feel like a little bit of a lengthening happening around the outside of the right hip. Lovely. So beginning to take a nice deep breath in now. Exhaling, nice long smooth breath out. And as you inhale, nice and slowly, drawing your head back up to the center, slowly drawing your knees back up to the center. So just noticing if that feels kind of fragile. It might, just taking your time. We kind of have to move very slowly, coming out of these shapes. Lovely. Then bringing your knees in towards your chest. Giving your knees a nice big hug. And to come up now, we either take our hands behind our knees and come up that way, or taking your knees over to the side and pressing into the floor and coming up nice and slowly that way. So either rock up or around to the side. Nice. So we're going to use our made up bolster here, our rolled up blanket, and take that underneath our legs, underneath the knees. If you might need to experiment with how that feels, but we don't want to put extra pressure on the hamstrings in this next shape that we're going to create. So it's a forward fold, which again is very soothing for our body, our mind, our heart. Very calming. So it's a forward fold, and it's funny, when we say those words, we imagine we're going to just kind of drape our bodies over, or maybe I do in my mind, drape the body over the legs. But our fold might be 2 centimeters, because what happens is the hamstrings, we start to want to engage those. So we don't want that to happen. So we just come to a space where we can relax the arms. We're not pulling. We're just allowing ourselves really to be in gravity. Even if the gravitational pull, it feels like you might still be quite upright, that's absolutely fine. There's a nice pull somewhere in the body. You're going to feel it somewhere. And that's the most important thing. We want to feel something. Yin is a practice that is about creating, kind of coming up to an edge. We create a little bit of an edge, not too much, something that's livable with. Something that we can be present to be aware of. And once we've created that outer shape with the body, we move inwards. So closing your eyes, noticing how your breath feels, perhaps counting the breath again. Now sometimes we like to use mantras in this practice. So lovely, if you have a mantra of your own, please use that. This is an opportunity to meditate. If you don't have your own mantra, there's several that we can use. So there's one that's very nice. So, hum, I am that. So, hum. And it really goes with the breath. So, hum. So, hum. Becomes a bit wave-like. So, hum. I am that. I am truth. I am connected. I am here. Making sure that you're not engaging the hamstrings, you're not needing the kind of outcome of this to be anything other than being present, being here, being a peace offering. Lovely. So beginning to take a nice deep breath in and exhaling nice long smooth breath out. And we're not in any rush to come up. We're going to take our hands onto the floor or onto that rolled up blanket, whatever is easier, and then slowly coming up. Really taking your time. The body really loves us to be moving very slowly now. We've created quite a bit of length there between each vertebra. Hands come behind you, a little lift of the chest, and we come into this shape. It's still being still. So that everything can be received by the body, that energy, that pull. Nice. So as we come up now, we're going to take our blanket out from underneath us. And our next shape is on our hands and knees. Let's bring our hands underneath our shoulders, knees underneath our hips. Start a little movement, side to side, moving your head, shoulders, spine, hips, making circles. So really getting into a space of very gentle, loving movement for the body. A yin-like type of movement. Rounding your back, allowing the belly to come down. Side to side. Undoing any tension, any tightness. Lovely. And then we come back to the center and we're going to step the right foot forward between the hands. So if of course this one isn't right for you, this shape is quite challenging, you can always bring something to make the floor come up a little higher so that you're not so squished down, if that's what your preference is, or place something underneath your left knee so it isn't hurting or sharp pain. But dragon pose has an interesting name. Dragon pose is quite fiery. I think that's why it's called dragon. It creates quite a bit of heat in the body because what's happening is we're lengthening through the front of this left hip flexor here. And there's two things. We're kind of feeling a nice juicy length through that left front of the left hip there, which is pulling on our stomach and spleen meridian lines. And that alone creates heat, because if you think of the digestive system, we need fire there is quite a fiery atmosphere to digest our food. So it can create a little bit of heat in this shape. The other thing that's happening is on the right side, your right thigh, right leg is kind of hopefully squishing up against the belly there, the ascending colon, which again is going to help us with digestion. So, and in Yin Yoga, really the spleen and the stomach are so important because it's not just about how we digest our food, but it's how we digest everything in our life. And there's a lot to digest at the moment. So what we're taking in through our eyes, through our ears, all has to be assimilated in our body through our cells. So it's very important that we keep our digestive juices working optimally, as healthy as we can be. And of course, as I say, if this pose isn't right for you, you can always adjust, find something else, maybe thread the needle pose, or maybe on your belly, drawing one leg in towards you. Let me give that as a little demonstration. So you stay where you are in dragon pose. The other option is to come onto your belly and encourage that foot in that way. Or if that's not right for your knee, another nice one for the digestive juices is having your rolled up blanket at the just underneath your belly button. So taking a few more breaths. Let's take 3 more breaths to finish this side. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhaling, nice long smooth breath out. Inhaling. And exhaling. Lovely. One more deep breath in. And exhaling, nice long smooth breath out. And then slowly again, even though we might want to be in a hurry to get out of this shape, we want to come up and then slowly slide this right foot back so the knee is beside the left knee. But let's take the legs out in front. Nice. And then we're going to bring the right knee in towards the chest. And let's see if we can take that right knee as best we can on top of the left knee. Hands onto that top leg, the right leg. And then again, that forward fold as we come forward. Now, it might be that you, again, don't come too far. It's going to be quite strong here through the outside of your left hip. So we just close our eyes, drop into the space, drop into our breath. May we be at peace with what comes. And we come back to our mantra. This gift of practice that you are giving your body, your mind, your heart. Softening the muscles. Allowing yourself to be here. Breathing. Lovely. So beginning to take a nice deep breath in now. Exhaling, nice long smooth breath out. And as we inhale, nice and slowly making your way back up, taking your time. And then releasing that right leg, straightening the right leg, taking your hands behind you, a little lift of the chest. Noticing now, I always like to notice how the legs feel, especially if we scan through, check in with the ankles, knees, hips, the energy that's moving around the legs, and we allow it to settle back down nice and evenly. That awareness of our energy, it's so potent, really. So lovely to notice how it feels moving around the body. Nice. So we're going to do the other side. Sometimes I do this where we go out the way we came in. So we're going to bring the left knee in and take that knee over the top of the right leg. And you want to really rearrange your sit bones. Sit nice and tall. Notice how that feels everywhere in your body. This is very good for the hips, for the knees. And then we start that movement forward. Now again, it's only going to be tiny. Very usually this is a tiny little move. But it's enough. It's enough. We just come to that point that we can't go any further and we stop there and we breathe. We relax, we relax, we relax, and we soften. We let go. The need to achieve anything. This is a practice about being aware, being present, being loving, being kind. Coming back to your mantra, back to your breath. Softening the muscles over and over again. And have to check in. Ooh, what's happening? What am I doing? Can I relax? Can I let go? Lovely. So beginning to take a nice deep breath into your body. Exhaling, nice long smooth breath out. And then as we inhale nice and slowly, we're going to use that action through the fingers to push ourselves back up, taking your time. Nice. And then helping that left leg up, straightening the left leg, hands behind you for a moment, a little lift of the chest. Again, noticing the energy moving around your legs, your knees. So that particular move is very good for our liver and our gallbladder meridian lines. So the outside of the body is where our gallbladder meridian runs. And when we have a good, healthy gallbladder, it helps the liver. Nice. So as you inhale now, we're going to come into our next dragon shape. So the left foot is at the front. So if you were on your belly or had the bolster underneath your belly, come back into that one. Otherwise, your left foot is at the front, your right knee is down. And we want to create really kind of as much length as we can into the front of that the right hip as we possibly can. So hands underneath your shoulders, and of course if you've got books or something, you could place your hands a little higher. Don't make it too difficult for yourself. So we're dropping into gravity. You might feel that straight away, that kind of into the front of the right hip. Sometimes things can only be described in sounds. When we come up against that edge, that challenging, juicy, kind of edgy, just the right amount, not too much, because the magic ingredient here is the amount of time. So a lot of the time we're really encouraged in Yin to back up. So rather than be 100%, we want to be kind of 75-80% of perhaps what's possible. And find stillness. May we be at peace with what comes. Allow this to be your one-pointed focus, drishti. Drawing the mind back over and over. So coming to the end of this shape, we're going to take 3 breaths, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale And exhale. One more deep breath in. And exhaling, nice long smooth breath out. Lovely. And then slowly we start to come out of that shape. So very tenderly starting to move and draw that left foot back so the left knee comes beside the right. Nice. And then you might like to move a little, moving your head, shoulders, spine, hips. You might like to stay still, whichever you prefer. Try not to move too fast though. Some of you might like to come into kind of a gentle downward facing dog. Your choice, as long as it feels light and like a peace offering. And then slowly coming down, and we're going to come onto our backs again. And we'll need our cork block. So taking your spine onto the earth, soles of the feet onto the earth. And we're going to take our block or our book, whatever we have, underneath the sacrum. So very low down the spine, at the very base of the spine. So it's kind of like just the very bony bit there. Just make sure it's comfortable. Nice, coming into Golden Gate bridge pose. So you want to have it on, if you do have a block, please don't be tempted to lift it up too high. We want to have it on its lowest level. And then taking your legs out straight, and you'll know if the block is in the right place here. If your legs are having to do any work at all, it means the block is not low enough down. So just bend your knees and push it further down. And then arms out to the side, and we allow the shoulders to relax. There's a little lift there through the heart. Kind of nice gentle back bend, so no pinching at the lower back. We don't want any pinching there. And again, this idea of lengthening through the front of the body. But there's a gentle kind of tuck in of your chin in towards your chest, so the thyroid gland is getting a bit of a massage. Noticing the quality of your breath. beginning to take a nice deep breath in. Nice long smooth breath out. And then slowly you're going to bend one knee, take the sole of the foot onto the earth, bend the other knee, take that foot onto the earth, and then very gently pushing down through the soles of the feet, a little lift of the hips, sliding your block out from underneath you, allowing the spine to come down, but nice and slowly, slowly, slowly. Now, drawing your right knee in towards your chest, taking your left leg straight along the mat, coming into a twist. So we're going to take this knee over to the left. Left hand guides the knee towards the earth. Right arm reaches away. And we'll be here just for 5 breaths. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Three more nice long breaths. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhale and exhale. One more deep breath in and exhaling, staying where you are. Inhaling, slowly making your way back up to the center. And we'll take both feet onto the earth, straightening everything up for a moment, broadening your shoulders, moving your head, drawing the left knee in, straightening the right leg, and coming into your twist. So right hand guides the knee towards the earth. It might just be in space, that's fine. In fact, being more in gravity is fine. You might find your shoulders up off the floor. Just find what's right for you. We don't need to have things glued down. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Noticing what changes. Inhale and exhale. Always being curious. One more. Inhale and exhale. Okay, and then slowly starting to come back up, taking your time. Both feet come onto the earth. Okay, and then we'll come into a supine butterfly pose. So soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. Let's take the right hand onto the belly, left hand onto the heart. A peace offering for your body, for your mind, for your heart. Nice. And then slowly, let's help the knees together and come into our Shavasana. So if that means putting on socks, putting on layers, getting a blanket over the top of you, just take your time to come into Shavasana. Maybe you take your rolled up blanket underneath your knees. If you have an eye pillow at home, it's always nice to place an eye pillow over you. Just allow yourself now to come into Shavasana, relaxing your toes, your feet, your ankles. Relaxing your legs. Allowing your hips to drop down into the earth. Softening your spine. Relaxing your belly. Allowing the front of the body to kind of feel like it's sinking towards the back of the body. Relaxing your fingers, your hands, your wrists. Relaxing your arms. Allowing your arms to be nice and heavy on the earth. Relaxing your shoulders. Allowing your shoulders to melt into the earth beneath you. Softly letting go. Relaxing your throat, your neck, your jaw. And your throat, neck, and jaw relaxing. Softening. Relaxing your face, the inside of your face, and your eyes. Allowing your eyes to sink towards the back of your head. Relaxing your forehead, crown of your head, as you exhale, allow this lovely wave of relaxation to pour down through your body. Rejuvenating every cell in your body. As you bathe in the bliss of your energy, your vitality, compassion, joy, and love. beginning now to take a nice deep breath into your body. As we slowly start to move our fingers and toes. A little bit of movement into your wrists and your ankles. And when you're ready, drawing your legs together. Lifting your arms up over your head, giving yourself a nice stretch. Out through the palms, out through the heels. And drawing your knees in towards your chest, giving your knees a nice big hug. Little rock from side to side. And then rolling over onto your left side, curled into a ball. And slowly making your way up to sit in a nice comfortable cross-leg position, whatever feels good for you. Maybe keep the blanket wrapped around your shoulders. Stay nice and warm. Always a nice way to finish a practice, actually. Resting your hands on your knees. Keeping your eyes closed. We'll finish with a universal blessing. So if we take our hands, palms together in front of our heart, and we bless the space between us. May the universe enjoy us. May the universe protect us. May the light of understanding spread amongst us without end. May we nurture and respect one another and love one another. And we can feel the connection between our palms, the energy. Feel the sacredness of this ordinary moment, made extraordinary by all of you gathering here. And we'll finish and close with the sharing of 3 alms. Taking a nice deep breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace to each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for coming. Namaste, everybody. Namaste.